opening doors to inclusion and development. That's what the government is doing for the community of persons with disabilities. It's our focus today in Jamaica Magazine as we join the commemoration of Disabilities Awareness Week. Welcome to the program. I'm Theodore Henry, so glad you tuned in. On today's pages, parliamentarians extol the virtues of the National Disabilities Act, which was passed recently. And we hear from a few of our Jamaicans with abilities who have excelled at the national level. Stick around. All this and more comes up right after the news.
Violence against women and girls is too commonplace in our society. Too often our women and girls are beaten, raped, and verbally abused. Break the silence. Say no to violence. Let us unite to end violence against our women and girls.
That was a message from Senator the Honorable Sandria Faulkner, the Minister responsible for Gender Affairs, in support of the elimination of violence against women. Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, December 2. Jamaica is poised for even greater economic stability and growth, immediate benefits of a new country partnership strategy to be signed with the Inter-American Development Bank IDB within the next few weeks. The strategy will mainly focus on high-impact reforms and investments that will maintain macroeconomic stability and promote economic growth. The launch of the strategy coincides with the official visit of IDB President Luis Alberto Moreno from December 18 to 19. Mr. Moreno will meet with the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, other senior government officials, the opposition leader, and representatives of Jamaica's civil society and corporate sector. His visit coincides with the 45th anniversary of Jamaica's partnership with the IDB. The entity, which is Jamaica's leading multilateral development partner, will mark that significant milestone partly through a groundbreaking ceremony for the new IDB offices in Kingston. The IDB has committed $510 million to the extended fund facility between the Jamaican government and the International Monetary Fund. Jamaica's Housing Quality Index has increased to 72%, indicating that the quality of Jamaica's housing stock has improved. The revelation was made in the 2012 Jamaica Survey of Living Conditions conducted by the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, and the Statistical Institute of Jamaica. The survey shows that 69.1% of the population live in houses made of concrete, and 93.1% use electricity as their main source of lighting. PIOJ's Director General Colin Bullock says this information is useful for a number of reasons.
The findings act as a response mechanism and allows for an evaluation of policy. Based on the information gathered and analyzed, policy becomes more accurately informed and better able to address living conditions among Jamaicans.
2 additional focus areas were added to the 2012 survey: early childhood development and the elderly. A total of 8 focus areas were covered in this, the 23rd publication of the Jamaica Survey of Living Conditions. Over 20,500 people were surveyed in over 6,500 households. 15 automated immigration kiosks have been installed at the island's 2 international airports to speed up the processing time of passengers and improve border security. 10 have been installed at the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay and the other 5 at the Norman Manley in Kingston. National Security Minister Peter Bunting says the system, which reduces the physical interaction between immigration and passengers, will not compromise border security.
And allows PICA to continue to detect persons of interest by cross-referencing incoming passengers against the nation's watch list and conducting appropriate security checks by way of a built-in matrix.
Minister Bunting added that this would complement current systems to detect individuals who traveled directly or indirectly from Ebola-affected countries. The automated immigration kiosks, which is part of a $200 million airport improvement project, was funded by the Tourism Enhancement Fund. The over $2 million which was spent to implement the system also includes maintenance and support for the next 5 years. A new 304-bed dormitory is to be constructed at the Tamarind Farm Adult Correctional Centre in St. Catherine to ease overcrowding there and elsewhere in the correctional system. Cabinet approved the 9-month construction project, which will cost $194.8 million.
The contract is for the construction of a 2-story, 14.4 thousand square feet dormitory-style block to house inmates. It will include 16 solitary confinement single cells and 16 dormitories, each with a capacity of 18.
Minister Faulkner, who was addressing the recent Jamaica House press briefing, added that rehabilitation works was also scheduled to begin at the Old Naval Hospital in Port Royal in East Kingston. The project, which costs $88.29 million, will last for 4 months and involves repairs to the roof, structure and bathroom facilities at the hospital.
Work on the facilities being undertaken as part of the development of museums at the Historic Royal Naval Hospital and Historic Walkway Project.
Over 500 potential witnesses have been identified for the Commission of Inquiry into the May 2010 events in West Kingston. Commission Chairman Sir David Simmons made the announcement on day 1 of the Commission of Inquiry Monday. He said a substantial number of witness statements had been taken or provided by the security forces, the Independent Commission of Investigations, and residents of West Kingston.
In our search for the truth and the facts, it is absolutely crucial that members of the public who are in possession of evidence relevant to our terms of reference testify before this commission.
Sir David, however, urged attorneys to protect the constitutional rights of persons now before the courts for matters relating to the May 2010 events in West Kingston so that those persons could receive a fair trial. The Commission of Inquiry is being held from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Jamaica Conference Centre in downtown Kingston. It's scheduled to last for 3 months. However, the chairman has indicated that due to the number of witnesses, the commission may exceed the allotted time. Sir David also sought to assure that the commission would be efficient and impartial. And finally, Dwayne Vaz has been elected as Member of Parliament for the Central Westmoreland constituency. Mr. Vaz, who represented the People's National Party in Monday's by-election, defeated Faye Reid Jacobs of the Jamaica Labour Party and independent candidate Ras Asta Black. A vacancy was created in the Central Westmoreland constituency following the death of Roger Clark. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.
Prevent chikungunya. Get rid of mosquito breeding sites around the home. Empty dish drainers and keep refrigerator troughs dry. Punch holes in the bottom of tin cans before placing them in the garbage. Keep houseplants in damp soil instead of water and keep flowerpot saucers dry. Keep drains, ditches, roof gutters and eaves clean so water will drain properly. And remember to open your windows during fogging. Also, wear light-colored clothing and cover your body as much as possible to prevent mosquito bites. For more information on chikungunya prevention, call the Ministry of Health toll-free at 1-888-1-LOVE. That's 1-888-663-5683. Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. A message from the Ministry of Health.
A major focus of Disabilities Awareness Week is the recent passing of the Disabilities Act. Just how important is this legislation? Hear more now.
Oh, it's my day to do anything I want to. It's my time, and I'll use it any way I want.
This groundbreaking piece of legislation is not only being acted upon in fulfillment of a promise made to the country by this administration, but it must also be noted that it seeks to promote, protect, and ensure the full and equal enjoyment of persons with disabilities of privileges, interests, benefits, and treatment on equal basis with other persons in the national community. The main objective of the bill are as follows. It is to reinforce and promote the recognition and acceptance within Jamaica of the principle that a person with a disability has the same fundamental rights as any other person. It is to promote individual dignity and individual autonomy including the freedom of choice and independence of a person with disability. It is to ensure full and effective participation and inclusion in the society of persons with a disability on an equal basis with all others. It is to prevent or prohibit discrimination against a person with a disability. It is to promote respect for differences and acceptance of persons with disabilities as part of the human diversity and humanity.
I want to say that we at the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, armed with this piece of legislation, will be able to do more in the ways of the micro, small and medium-sized enterprises as we seek to address and to overcome any disabilities that will affect this community from playing its full role in the economic life of the country.
Therefore, the task that falls to all of us in this honorable House, and indeed the wider society more generally, is to make the political, social and economic changes necessary to enable the greater inclusion of persons with disabilities into the mainstream of the society.
Oh, it's my day to do anything I want to. It's my time, and I'll use it any way I want. Don't waste your time with thoughts of giving up. It's all in your mind. Let it go, let it go.
My name is Jason Ricketts, and I employ all youth with disability to not give up hope. There is a space out there for you, just need to work hard, and I'm sure that your training will help Jamaica move forward to meet Vision 2030 plan.
Don't waste your time with thoughts of giving up. It's all in your mind.
So Disabilities Awareness Week, which started on Sunday, November 30, continues through to Sunday, December 7. Here are some of the activities taking place over the period.
With the passing of our Disabilities Act, this year's Disabilities Awareness Week takes on the mode of celebration as we seek to heighten public awareness around the Act. These are some of the activities that will be held in celebration of this year's Disabilities Awareness Week. All are invited to all our events. They are not just limited to the disabilities community. International Disabilities Awareness Day is celebrated on the 3rd of December. And this year, this celebration will take focus of a stakeholders consultation where we'll focus on the Disabilities Act, and this consultation will be held at the University of the West Indies. The consultation will look at the codes of practice of the Disabilities Act, and we start at 10 a.m. On Thursday, there will be a closing ceremony for the Caregivers Training Program, and this will be at the University of Technology at the Jamaica Lecture Theatre starting at 10 a.m.
There'll be a better tomorrow. 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 There'll be a day. There'll be a way. There'll come a time to sing a brand new song. There'll be a better tomorrow.
Rising above their physical challenges and focusing on their abilities are what many with disabilities are doing. Today we highlight 3 such persons who are not only winners, but have also become role models to many.
It's ability that matters, not disability. This is the personal philosophy of so many Jamaicans who are living, thriving, and even excelling with disabilities. Among them, 3 of our nation's athletes who have received the Order of Distinction for their contribution to the field of sport. Tanto Mandela Campbell was born with only 4 fingers on his right hand and 2 on his left. It's a congenital deformity that also affected his legs. Shortly after birth, the decision was taken to amputate both his legs.
I was in the institution here at Mona Rehab at the age of 5. They started the program in 1996. It was there before, but they resumed it back. What happened is that we have to participate in other activities such as sports. And then at the 2001, I decided to take part in athletics by going to the field events. However, I continued training. I got selected in 2002 to be a part of a national team at the athletics level, and from there the journey starts.
Like many Jamaicans who live with a disability, Tanto Campbell had his share of challenges.
I went to Oak Valley Primary School. What happened is that at that time we are all ignorant to this disability. So they will tease you, trouble you, but eventually you get over that hump and you meet some friends, and friends start to understand the disability. Then after that I graduated from the primary school and go to Papine High School, where I'm the president. I become the president of the student council body. And I gained that respect by socializing, show them not be afraid, and they respect me for that.
He eventually got his big break in 2001 when he moved from national competitions to the world stage. And it is at this level that he has brought glory to his country, gaining a host of medals throughout his career. Like Tanto, Alphonso Cunningham got his start at the Sir John Golding Rehabilitation Center, more commonly referred to as Mona Rehab. They call him Ambassador, a good name for a man who has done an excellent job representing his country.
I used to see the senior guys used to throw the field events and stuff, so I used to go out there and pick up for them. But I never enjoyed, because that wasn't my thing. I like challenge things like basketball, the contact sports and stuff. So when I look at field events, I'm like, that's throwing out. And I thought I have to throw like way over the wall or something to really get a medal or be a champion. But, by my coach, Neville Sinclair, he taught us that no, it's not like that. We have different categories. I do it in 2003, and then I get picked on the team. He said he qualified for the British Opening in Birmingham, England, where I won 2 gold in javelin and discus.
As a Paralympian, Alphonso has won some major awards in his illustrious career, including gold in the discus through at the 2003 World Games in Birmingham, England, gold in the discus at the 2011 Pan American Games in Mexico, and gold in javelin at the 2012 Paralympic Games in London. In 2014, he also won at the Athens Paralympic Games in Greece and set a world record in the discus throw. Sylvia Grant is another record-breaking Paralympian. She remains Jamaica's most decorated female Paralympian with more than 25 years of experience in the field of sport. Her medals include silver in both the pentathlon and javelin events at the 1988 Paralympics in Korea, gold in the discus throw in 1999 at the Pan American Games Mexico, and gold again in the USA America's Cup in discus in 2010.
When I used to go to Oak Valley Experimental, I used to do track, and I was good at it. And then I see them out here do swimming, basketball, field events, and a lady in it named Minette Wilson. She said, you can come and join it, And I said, all right, and I tried. And when I tried, the team was going to a Pan Am game. I never get picked. But I never feel any way. And then Professor said, okay, 88, you're not going to miss this one. And when I went to the 88 in Seoul, I get 3 silver medals. The first one was pentathlon. And what is a pentathlon? You have to do 5 events: javelin, discus, shot put, and 200 and 1500.
Sylvia has overcome great odds to be where she is today. Abandoned by her parents because of her condition, she found a home and family at Mona Rehab.
It was rough. I was born at Port Antonio Hospital. My mom come leave me here when I was 3 months old and never come back. I feel great because what I am coming from, a mother don't take care of me. You know, I grew up here at the hospital. I mean, I receive all of those medals. I feel so great.
Today, Sylvia is a mother, grandmother, and star athlete who got the keys to the city of Kingston in December 2013. Tanto, Alfonso, and Sylvia have all excelled in their field, but they're especially happy to be receiving national honors.
I feel good. I feel good about it because right now I'm glad that they're recognizing the disabled now for getting everything now. They put us in it now, so I feel grateful for that.
It is superb. Why I say that? Because finally they recognize different able. Not that different able person did not achieve other national awards, but at least we are getting the recognition. It's a great achievement, and hopefully can encourage other different able to come in, not only sports, but contribute to something else.
Me and Tanto, Sylvia, the rest of Paralympians, making that drive to continue to do well, continue to inspire people, continue to just make an impact on people's life and giving back and show them, there is a hope. Through sports, through any little thing you're doing, just believe in yourself and know you can do it.
A healthy and educated people living in a clean, natural environment, reducing crime, improving the justice system and governance, building a prosperous economy. It's not just a vision, it's reality. Learn about the plan. Join the vision.
My country, Jamaica, has a rich heritage and is very unique. If we all pull together, we can make it the place of choice to live, work, raise family, and to do business.
For more information on Vision 2030, call the Planning Institute of Jamaica or visit vision2030.gov.jm, your parish library, school library, or the Jamaica Information Service.
This is my appeal, Jamaica, give blood for it.
Give blood and give the gift of life. So safe you don't have to think twice. Do what you can for one another.
Yeah, man.
Be a hero, be a blood donor.
Yeah, me people, watch it. Give blood for your sister and your brother, save the life of another. You might never know. Give blood. As you love a life, you love many people, one blood. The Father says so.
One blood.
Sign up today, be a blood donor. Many people, one blood.
Yesterday was commemorated as World AIDS Day. According to the Greater Involvement of Persons Living with HIV and AIDS unit at the National Family Planning Board, over 30,000 persons in Jamaica are living with the disease. And despite strides made, there's still some amount of discrimination faced by those who are affected. Let's stop the stigma.
Issues of stigma and discrimination will come up because of how people think about people living with HIV and how people think about HIV itself. I can tell you about myself. I was diagnosed in 1992 and I struggled with my own acceptance. I struggled with my own self for many years, and I've seen many children who were born HIV positive, many children who have parents that are HIV positive struggle with that same acceptance of themselves, acceptance of HIV in their families, and so on. So the message here for Jamaica as relates to children is that children live what they learn. So if we treat children bad, you know, as they grow up and face the challenges of the world and the society, it doesn't improve their self-esteem and self-worth. It hurts. And so it is not only hurting the individual, but it is also hurting the society.
Yes, I should think so, because if we teach the children them and make it be known, if them take heed, yes, them can act on where them learn and it can reach to a 0 level.
I think that it can be reduced to 0 if we are conscious of ourselves and how we go about the daily thing that we do.
I think it requires a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment. It really requires a multi-sectoral approach. I think everybody has to take responsibility, not just a personal responsibility for their actions, and practice those behaviors that don't put them at risk.
Well, they can try by putting some measures in place or something to really get it done.
Well, I think getting to 0 is possible because there's a lot of interventions going on now, so people are more aware of what they are dealing with, so and know the risk that they are taking. So I think it is possible.
It's gonna be a tedious task to actually get to 0, because it's recently that in schools teenagers are aware of HIV because they're not aware of how it is being caught.
It requires both public sector and private sector working together, because it's not a fight that we can fight alone. There are a lot of people that are working on the ground. There are a lot of people that are committed to the cause, but it's time for all the sectors to pull together, because the reality of the situation is that everybody is at risk, and unless we work together as a people, then we're not going to achieve it.
The Ebola virus is transmitted through direct contact with an infected person's blood or other bodily fluids such as saliva, urine, stool, and semen. The virus can also be spread if broken skin comes in contact with contaminated items like clothing, bed linen, and needles used by an Ebola patient. Symptoms of Ebola include sudden onset of fever, intense weakness, muscle pain, headache, and sore throat. This may be followed by vomiting, diarrhea and rash, impaired kidney and liver functions, and in some cases both internal and external bleeding leading to death. Ebola cannot be spread by someone who does not have symptoms. The time between exposure and when a person begins to have symptoms is known as the incubation period. For Ebola, this is anywhere from 2 to 21 days. Infected patients should be handled by persons wearing proper personal protective equipment, then transferred to designated isolation centers. Protect yourself. Avoid travel to Ebola-affected countries. Avoid contact with infected persons. Don't touch the body of someone who has died from Ebola. Wash hands frequently and use an alcohol-based sanitizer. To know more, call the Health Ministry's Emergency Operations Center at 1-888-1-LOVE. That's 1-888-663-5683.
And on that note, we close the pages of today's Jamaica Magazine. Moving forward, let's all be open-minded and welcoming to everyone. Send us your feedback by emailing us at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm, and whenever you're online, do visit our website at jis.gov.jm to get the latest news and views nationally. You can also catch up with us through our various social media platforms. This busy Christmas season, please take greater care on the roads. On behalf of the hardworking JIS production team, I'm Theodore Henry.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.